everyone, it's Jessica here with another layout for you. Today I am doing a nice fall themed layout with a pear tree cut file called the Giant Maple Leaf, and I've actually cut it twice with two different pattern papers to back it with. I use the contour feature to hide all the contours to cut out the backing piece on my Cricut software, and then the actual cut file here is this topper piece that you see me gluing down now. So I'm just adding some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to the back, and then I will attach that to the backing for the file itself. So I have two papers there that I've used. They're both from the Acorn Lane collection by Simple Stories, which is the main collection that I'm going to be using today, along with a Color Cast Designs acrylic title, which you see at the top of my frame there. And I'm just going to layer both of these leaves on my layout. I've chosen some really pretty wood grain paper for my background here, and then I've got this beautiful photo of my little girl from one of our camping adventures in the fall. So I'm just backing this other little maple leaf here, or giant maple leaf, and then that will finish off these cut files. That's all I'm going to do with them. Super easy and simple today. I wanted to do something really fun and fallish for this beautiful photo, and I really loved my layout that I did like a month or two ago. It was for Creative Scrapbooker magazine. I did a leaf layout with this on a white background, but I did some mixed media on that one. I really loved how that one turned out, so I really wanted to do that again for this, but just make it a little bit different with the pattern paper for the background. So I'm just going to adhere these down. I had to replace my tape runner because I ran out during this layout, so that's all good to go at this point. I like to get my refills from my ATG Gun at tapejungle.com. I buy them in bulk. I actually just bought some for Black Friday. They had a sale going on, so I usually stock up whenever they have their sales and buy them in bulk. So that's where I like to get my refills. I'm just going to pull out some of these little die cut pieces and layer these around my photo. I'm going to add, probably add a scallop die piece to one of the sides of my photo. That's one of my favorite things to do to add layers around my photos, is to add a scallop die from Spellbinders. I also have one by Hey Little Magpie as well. I love those little scallop border dies, and I use them a ton. So that's one of my favorite things in my stash right now, and one of my go-to pieces that I use a lot are those scallop dies. So I'm going to add one of those here. I'm just tucking in little bits and pieces from these little die cuts in this Acorn Lane collection. So I'm just scattering them around my photo and just tucking them in and around the bigger cut file leaves. And then this one here has like a little branch on it and some acorns. I'm going to put that right at the bottom because it's just super cute, and I wanted to use that little branch piece at the bottom of my photo. So my title, I'm just going to place at the top up there. I'm going to eventually glue that down here in a minute with some Nuvo glue as well. I like to use that glue on my acrylic pieces because it does seem to hold up really well in my books. I don't always peel the backings off. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Kind of depends on my mood. But all the ones in my books that have the backing still on seem like they're holding up well, and it didn't really affect anything. So over time, I think they'll be fine, but if they do happen to fall off because they have the backing piece on, then I will just take the backing off and reattach. It'll be okay. So I've got this little scallop border here that I mentioned earlier. This is the Spellbinders one. It's like a kind of embossed a little bit, so it's just got a nice little texture to it, and I'm just tucking that in on the left side. I'm just going to go through and just start gluing all of these little leaf and die cut pieces around my photo at this point, and I'm just roughing up the edges of them as I go just to give them a little bit more texture and dimension. So my leaf here, I got little flowers here on top of my leaf. I'm just adding some layers and some little clusters. I'm just going to go ahead and adhere down my photo at this point because I know that's exactly where I want it to go. It's not going to move around or anything, and I've been tucking in all of these leaves and gluing them down, so I better get that photo down at this point, or I'll probably just forget. But I've done that, believe it or not. But I'm just going to continue layering this up. I'm grabbing the little sticker book and giving it a flip through, seeing which little wordy bits I want to add to the bottom of this. I love adding these little word phrases to my layouts just to create a little fun cluster. I usually kind of stagger them, make some straight, some not straight, stagger them, but mainly keep them in a little cluster all together. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'm just adding them there. I'm also going to grab my date stamp. I have a roller date stamp by Paige Evans. It's a little bit older, but all the dates are still good on it. The years are still good for a couple years yet, I think. So I'm going to grab that and grab a label out of that same sticker book, and I'll stamp my date and add it to the bottom of the layout there at the bottom underneath those wordy pieces. And I've also pulled out some of my white acrylic paint, which I'm going to water down with just some water in my paintbrush, and I'm going to flick on some white splatters to add just a little bit of texture to my background. This acrylic piece has that little tiny heart that goes in the middle. It says feeling fallish, and it has that little heart in the middle to separate. So I had to make sure I remembered to glue down the little heart. I just used my sequin packet here to cover up my photo, and I'm going to actually add some of those sequins by Spiegelmom scraps to my layout as well. So I'm just going to pull out my little sequin tool that I got from Amazon. I'll link it down below for you in case you want to grab it from the Amazon shop, and I'll try to find links for everything that I've used. The title acrylic is from Colorcast Designs, and then the collection that I use is that acrylic collection. So I'll see if I can grab a link for that and put that in the description for you in case you want to grab it from A Cherry on Top. That's where I got mine. My little assistant here is coming in to tell me where I need to put my sequins, and she's probably going to pull some off my desk and play with them as well. I know she grabs my scissors at one point too here in a little bit, and that's kind of scary. I don't like her playing with sharp things whenever we're sitting here. I do have that little I had a little pin there on my desk that she actually grabbed at one point too. I use corsage pin sometimes to unplug the tip of my Nuvo glue, because sometimes when you get down to the very bottom of the bottle like I have there, it seems to clog up. So I just use a corsage pin to unclog it, and she had grabbed that at one point in time, so I had to hurry up and get that from her and put it away. And then she was playing with the sequins, which I don't mind. She loves to play with pretty things, and so does mommy, so it's perfectly fine, and we let her kind of do her thing while we're here. So my scissors are laying there on my desk. I'm pretty sure this is the point soon where she grabs them and tries to play with them. I'm sticking down a flare from Scrap and Happy Studio there with some twine behind it. I like to use some glue dots in between those to really secure that together and onto the layout. And then I'm just tucking some thread in here around my layout as well, just to give it a little bit more texture. So I'm just pulling off pieces, a pretty long strip, and then just kind of twirling it around in my hand. There's my scissor thief there, and we remedy that situation fairly quickly because she looks like she was going to try to cut my thread with it, and that would have been fine, but I just don't like her playing with sharp things when she's sitting here or anywhere for that matter. So I don't think that's anything a 2-year-old should really be using. So we tend to grab those types of things up pretty fast from her, but she wants to experience everything like mommy. So here's my finished layout. I hope you guys enjoyed this process today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and make sure you feel free to hit that subscribe button in case you're not subscribed already, and I'll link everything in the description below in case you want to grab anything. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.